How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Oh, what's going on here? Welcome to Sketch Fighters. I'm Bernard Chang, professional comic book artist. Uh, let's just jump to our co-host tonight. We got Fletch Chu Fong, former
Ni
DC
hao.
executive.
Hello, hello.
He's gonna be heading out. He's at a dinner right now.
Yeah.
And then also we have Jerry Ma, professional comic book
Hey, what's up,
artist.
everyone?
Hi, Jerry.
Hi.
Fletch, what restaurant are you at?
I'm at the Roosevelt Hotel. It's known for its burgers, actually. It's the world famous top-notch burgers, top-rated burger.
Are you sure?
So,
Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood?
Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood. Have you tried the burgers in the joint right on Hollywood Boulevard?
No. There's a Hamburger Habit next to it, right?
Nobody goes there. Come on, man. This is the place to go to.
Okay. I mean, isn't it also haunted?
It could be. It's very old school Hollywood. It's nice though. It's nice. It's a good vibe.
Right. Okay.
Good ghosts in here. None of the ghosts bother me.
It's right across from the Chinese Man Theater.
Right. Yep.
So.
Not China Man Theater. Chinese MANN Theater.
Right. Where's Jerry's head? I'm trying to find Jerry's head.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that's just
his head and
Jerry's
heart
name.
still in Taipei.
So, just a quick recap. Jerry, Fletch, and I had a 3-week stay in Taipei recently. We just all got back. Fletch, you want to go first since you're about to head out? What is your overall memory from?
Man, besides while we were all there for Jerry's surprise engagement. I think one thing I'm going to take away most is besides that, it's just the people are great there, and food's inexpensive and it's great, tastes great, and drinks are great. Everything was really good. I loved the sightseeing there. Joe Finn, the site where Miyazaki based his Spirited Away movie on. Mao Kong, the Tea Mountain over there was great too. A lot of good things to see. I love Taipei 101. Even though it rained, I think 17 out of the 20 days we were there, it was still a good time hanging out with good friends and getting to meet a lot of people. And just a great experience.
I thought you were gonna say your most memorable experience was winning the Taipei Toilet Bowl.
I would not say that, but it was a moment of pride for me. Yes, I instill fear in Bernard's. I'll get in his head.
Man, Fletch outdrank all of us in Taipei too.
Did I? Well,
Yeah, I actually didn't drink all that much while we were there.
So
I managed. My liver is taking a break right now. But
what did you guys do the last couple of days?
Snuggled.
Mm-hmm.
We just took a walk around. We really hung around the city a little bit. Took some pictures, some last minute pictures. I went to the spa. Got a full body massage without the happy ending.
Oh.
And it was it was like $30 US around there. I think 30 or $35 with a tip.
Was that the
How much more
place?
would you have paid for the happy ending?
Just to give you an idea, a regular massage like that, would have been without a happy ending would have been like $200 at a hotel, a fancy hotel, fancy spa.
Well, how much was the? I mean, Jerry got a spa massage for his wifey.
Fiance.
How much was that? I mean, you don't have to say the specific, but it was quite expensive.
Oh yeah, so that I got so I got that for her and one of her friends that helped me do the planning stuff. That was kind of expensive because it was at the W Hotel.
Ooh.
So, but I basically there were three people that really helped me with the planning. So I tried to get each of them a little, thank you present. And for that person in particular, it was a spa package at the W.
And that's your engagement party, right? Where you proposed?
I guess, is that what it was? I mean, it was just I proposed and
Yeah.
people were there and we drank.
And she said yes.
Yes, she
And
did say yes.
So
She also said yes to you. She also said Jerry also said yes to you and me, Bernard.
Yeah,
Well,
so there were
yeah.
many engagements that night.
So he still has to figure out what he wants to do.
That's right.
Which brings us to this special, if you see this new banner that we have up on the screen here.
Thank you.
Today is the Hubba Hubba retirement party.
That's right.
Should I put it up top or on the bottom?
Coming in 2023, right?
Coming in 2023. Well, we need to do a poll. Should we keep this going until Jerry actually gets married? Or
I think that's a fitting end to Hubba for us.
right?
Jerry could still say it, right?
Jerry can still say it, and Jerry and we can say hubby. We're gonna change Hubba Hubba to hubby. I still got to do that on the icons, whatever things on the bottom.
I think Sugar Sean is here, by the way.
Sugar Sean?
Sugar Sean.
I'm here.
What's up, Sean?
Thanks for coming to Taipei, Sean.
Yes. Well, I am already married with children, so that throws a wrench into that.
Oh, just leaving my home.
So
Come on.
join the club, Jerry. You get ready to stay home 365 days.
Never!
Yes. You're a homebody now.
I'll never give in.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys are back. So are we seeing crazy pictures and doing the recap? Or?
Oh, yeah, so let's do a quick recap. Taipei recap.
Yeah. I heard about the fart B&B.
The fart. It was wrong. It was completely. That whole place had a thick air. Where's Fletch?
Thick air, period.
Yeah. The air in that place was thick.
Tofu farts.
I didn't even have any stinky tofu when I was there.
What do we nickname the place? Should we share that?
The fart B&B
That's right.
instead of Airbnb. Technically, the Airbnbs are illegal. Sean Chen, professional comic book artist. Say something, Sean.
Hello.
Okay. Just trying to figure out which ball on the left is yours.
Oh, who has the big party going on in the background?
I think that's Fletch.
Yo, yeah, I gotta jump out. We just got a table.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
But
have a nice
great
dinner.
hanging with you guys, and we'll talk soon. Take care, everybody.
All right.
See you, Fletch.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Okay. Let's see here. Well, this is the. Let's find Jerry. By the way, Sean, you get to pick today's sketch. Sean's,
yeah.
Sean's suggestion
Look at
last week
that.
blew up on IG.
I think you're approaching like 10 grand.
Yeah.
You might hit 10,000 on that. So
Mhm.
that's like a year record, right? A year-long record.
The soccer coach one. What was?
You can do your top 9, and maybe it'll be up there.
This one was 11.6K.
Soccer coach.
Ted Lasso.
What
Oh,
was
Ted
that?
Lasso.
Yeah,
Oh, no
Soccer
way.
coach.
yeah. That one kept going for a while. So that one was 11, but the 11.6. This Spider-Man
Oh,
was
that's a great
7.
likeness.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe if anyone in the chat has an idea of who we should draw today, because I'm kind of drawing a blank. I mean, I don't know,
yeah.
like Chainsaw Man or something like that. Like, what's really trending out there in terms of art?
Right. What? Who thinks? What subject matter is going to get the most? Most like this Batgirl got 8,000, but I think it was all after. Let's see. Yeah. This Deadpool got
I
5.
think Death Blow.
Death Blow.
Isn't Deathblow a woman now?
It is.
I don't know. Is it?
Well, Wildstorm's coming back, so they have a new take on certain things. One of them has done a gender change.
Oh, this Joker was 12,000.
Oh yeah, that's the one to beat.
I can't believe that this Joker was 12,000. It's kind of weird because, and then this.
It's like a sketchier drawing.
Yeah, this is like a ballpoint pen drawing. This one's the Daredevil's 9,000 something. Oh, this one.
The Joker has the shadow of your camera on there too. So
Yeah, because it's from like a convention. A lot of them have like that shadow. But then I did this Joker. I did another Joker that was very similar, also at the same show. And where is it? And it didn't do so well. It only got like 1,000. This one only got like 1,000 likes. Maybe it's because they already saw something similar.
yeah, who knows how this algorithm's weird.
Yeah, and then see this Joker right here. I thought this one was going to do pretty well. This was like watercolors. But this one didn't even break 1,000.
Oh yeah, that watercolor one's really good.
So I really don't know what's going to hit or not. That's why I rely on Sean. So, or you want to do a poll? Let's do a poll.
Yeah, let the people decide.
Anybody?
Avatar.
Yeah.
The young Sigourney Weaver Avatar.
Oh, Avatar. That is popular right now, right? Avatar.
But then, I'm surprised that you do I thought the basketball mashup with your last one was gonna hurt it, but it doesn't seem to hurt it at all.
Well, I think because it's like different than all the other ones that's out there, right? Because everybody else
Right.
that did a Wednesday artwork just basically looked at the movie poster, or it didn't really look like her. So
What is Spy X Fam?
I don't know. What is Spy X Fam?
Spy Family.
Oh, Spy Family? Is that Spy
That
X
seems to be
Family?
like, if you put that on the poll, I think that one's gonna win. But the thing is, we don't even really know, because we're boomers. We don't really know what it is.
It's a manga, anime,
It's a TV show. Oh, it's an
anime manga. But it just looks like there's a father. I guess there's a male, an older male, older female, and like a young girl with pink hair. Are they mother, father, daughter, or are they brother, sister, sister? I mean, I'm up for it. Let me say hello to everybody on chat. Beef Skeleton is the first today. Welcome back, Beef Skeleton. Kaiser Crossart, good to see Matthew. Kevin P. West. What's up, Kevin? All the way from Detroit. Golf Boy Sunday. What's up, Golf Boy from Canada? DYL Pickle. What's up, DYL Pickle from San Diego? Dr. Midnight, thank you for the gift sub. Wow, Dr. Midnight. Gift sub DYL Pickle. Way High. Good to see Way High. Way won the Wednesday sketch. I've gotten a couple of emails about inquiring about buying that piece. So Way you can make some money if you want to sell it. I still have to die heroically though. For Jerry, we had a conversation last week about art value, and
So if you bite the bullet, it's gonna go up in value.
if I bite the bullet, but I promise to try to bite the bullet in a very heroic manner, as to not as to help elevate the price of the artwork when I bite the dust. Dr. Midnight, thank you for gift subbing Kaiser Cross Art. James Quo's here. Dr. Midnight, thank you for gift subbing Beef Skellington.
Dr. Midnight is amazing. He's been doing this for a long time.
Oh, and we have to look at Dr. Midnight's artwork. We're going to
Yes.
review his artwork this stream too. So let's get to.
How did he send it over to you?
He did. I downloaded
Oh,
it.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Do you want me to forward it to you, Sean, or do you?
Well, if you're gonna show it on stream, then I can see it then.
Okay, let me find it. Let me find it in my download folder. Oh no, that's not it. What was the name of the file?
What were you drawing on your iPad?
Monkey Prince pages.
Oh,
I got a deadline coming up next week, and I'm working around the clock. So,
boy.
Okay. Fields of Glory.
We saw your guy Carl Choi out in Taipei, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird that you guys are out there at the same time.
Carl
There were
seems
so
to
many
be
people
everywhere.
there while we were there.
I saw the pictures.
Dr. Midnight, is it okay to show this? I guess, I mean, show these, this book, comic book that you texted me or emailed me? We can talk about, I think this is the book that you said you got published or printed.
Ooh, awesome.
Let me say hello to the rest of the chat real quick. Mr. Joshua, good to see you. Hope Luke's doing well. Wildstorm's here. B Dub's here. Good to see Air. Good to see Air. Simple Man, what's up, Tony? Jamie Odell, how's it going? Hey Jerry, is it cold in New York?
It's fucking freezing.
Is it snowing yet?
Hell yeah.
Did you guys
We
get
had
hit?
snow for like a couple hours, I think on Christmas Eve or something like that.
Oh.
Maybe it was like
Yep.
the day before.
But you guys didn't get hit with the cyclone?
No, just really cold weather.
Okay.
It was like as low as 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Marvin Nation, good to see Marvin Nation. When he trains, he was
When it rains.
when it rains. When it rains was in COVID quarantine all of Christmas. Today is my birthday. Well, happy birthday, When It Rains.
Oh yeah. Happy birthday when it rains, and
Happy
congratulations
birthday.
for getting out of the quarantine.
Are you in the U.S. when it rains? Where are you located that you have to quarantine?
Maybe it's in Spain.
Do you think
'Cause,
people? Do you think people in the U.S. when they catch COVID they stay in now, or they just like F it?
I think you'd be too tired to do anything.
But it's like a self like. I don't know. Original OD. What's up, Bill? When it rains,
Oh, when it
rains.
he's from DC.
Oh, from DC. Okay, When It Rains subbed. Thank you. 4 months in a row. Thank you so much, When It Rains.
I was from DC.
All the sub money goes to sending out. I have a bunch of envelopes here ready to go out. I just have to leave the place. I have to leave my house. I haven't left my house since last week. Sean's from DC. Bethesda.
Bethesda, Walt Whitman High School.
Bethesda in the house. Did you guys do anything for Christmas weekend?
Hung out with the fam.
Yeah, we just Julia's family came over and just ate a lot of food, Chinese food. Opened some presents. I mean, well, the kids did.
Does your daughter still
And,
believe in Santa Claus?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting harder to keep her convinced though.
I mean, you guys don't even have a fireplace, right? So
Yeah.
how does she think Santa Claus gets in?
Through the front door.
Yeah. I stay up late.
You stay up late and you let Santa Claus in?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let me see if am I caught up in
Oh,
chat?
look at the sweet couple.
Oh boy.
Lurky Lurk is
that.
here.
How romantic. Marry me.
Jerry rented out this cafe, like this whole
Look how happy he is.
yeah, like this big room, and concocted a story to lure her there, while all of her friends and family waited behind a curtain to surprise them.
Wow, he went all out.
Yojimbo is here. How you doing? Yojimbo's also in the DC area. Poop Kid, oh, Dung Dude. What's up, Poop Kid? How's it going? Poop Man, actually. Sorry, Poop Man.
Yeah, where is our Chanel West Coast today?
This was the post engagement after we went out for drinks nearby at a bar.
So who are those people? They're mostly her family?
Just some
Or friends?
strangers.
Okay. Oh, this was also the night of Morocco versus Spain. FIFA. Or no, World Cup. Do we want to say all these people's
Yojimbo.
names?
Wait, Yojimbo, we will be doing New York and Taiwan. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be, you're gonna have like 2 weddings.
But if there's 2 weddings, that means there's got to be 2 bachelor parties.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Did you get that thing I sent you today? Do you know what city has the most strip clubs per capita?
Oh yeah, Portland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe
That's
that?
crazy.
My editor told me about that
Really?
because she's from Portland, and because I have a scene in my comic that kind of disrespects a lot of these dancers, and she's very offended because she says all of her friends work in a strip club, and it's just like a big thing. It's
Really?
everywhere in Portland.
I'd like to meet your editor
Really?
and her friends.
Does your editor have an
Her
Instagram
friends, yeah.
page?
A what?
An Instagram page?
Oh no.
I mean, it's just purely research. Inc. 52017. Good to see you. Okay, so let's see. Do you want to rattle off everybody's names in this picture, Jerry?
Sure, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've got at the very tip of the top, that's Peter with Kiara and Zai Zai and Vincent. Wait, no, that's Lisa and Peter and Vincent. Then Fletch, and then Zai Zai and Kiara in front of Fletch. Anna. That's Mandy next to Fletch and Ivy in front of Mandy, and then you and me.
Where's MJ? He's not in this?
He is not there.
Oh, okay. And then this was at the still at the engagement party. The guy in the middle is Jerry's soon-to-be brother-in-law.
Those are the 3 people that helped me out with the planning. So it's kind of nice just to. So they're the 3 people I had to get some presents for, basically. But they helped me out tremendously, and it was pretty cool. They're great people.
Look at this romantic picture of the happy couple here. at a was this a karaoke?
That's, I think, can't remember. Was that? I thought that was at the sports bar. I can't remember
Was it
anymore.
the sports bar?
She's a microphone, right?
Yeah, there's that's Ivy and Howard, my cousins.
Your hand has a motion blur on it on that picture.
There's Jerry with Fletch and Ivy. This is at Ximending in Taipei.
The graffiti street.
Yeah, well, you
So I
specifically
found out
want.
about this street on Netflix.
You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So Ximending used to be it used to be a pretty nice little neighborhood in Taipei. My mom actually is from Ximending, but now it's become kind of, I don't want to say crappy, but they have a graffiti street. So that's where all the graffiti kids go to do their artwork. And they have a couple blocks that are legalized for them to participate in the graffiti. And it was pretty cool. I saw it on Netflix on the Asia by Night special, and I wanted to go check it out because I have been to Ximending like 20 times in my life, and I never knew there was a graffiti section. So it was just kind of cool to go check it out and see what it was all about. The graffiti was not so bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
I mean, what was it mainly like? Just like graphics, words? Was there like?
Yeah, mostly graphics. It seemed more like art driven rather than actual type driven. But it was cool, good for them. I thought it was nice just to see a little bit of the street culture there. Ximending is also one of the bigger sneaker centers of the world, so it kind of makes sense that they are big on graffiti and everything.
It's a very big street art, street fashion district. There's a lot. There's a. I don't know, how would you describe like Taipei? There's a bunch of different districts. So
Yeah,
which are like, I guess you can call them like kind of suburbs. So like in Manhattan, you would have Upper East Side, Upper West Side, Queens, or boroughs. Would you say boroughs? They're more like boroughs.
yeah, you could. It's just that it's weird how Tokyo is like this as well, where their little neighborhoods, boroughs, whatever you want to call them, they each really do have their own unique personality. Unlike here in the States, where like, oh yeah, it's uptown, downtown, whatever, which is kind of cool because it really does lend itself to, as a tourist, it's definitely more adventurous because you get to see different personalities, different cultures in the same city.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
Like we stayed in Da'an district, and the Da'an district has a lot of shops, has a lot of restaurants,
A lot of bars.
a lot of bars. There's a big park called the Da'an Park, which was a recent last decade or two ago where they, where the government reclaimed the land, tore down some stuff and built this almost a Central Park type space in the middle of the city. These are Fletch's pictures of some of Ximending graffiti area, street art. Yeah, there's a lot of artwork.
This is like 5 Points in was it Brooklyn? But I guess 5 Points doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But
Yeah,
every
it's turned
place
into something else now.
Would you say, was there a theme
Whole
to the
Foods.
artwork in particular? Like, was there any kind of political messages with the artwork, or was it just?
I didn't really notice it. I know very little about this whole graffiti area in Ximending, but besides what I saw on the Netflix special, and it would seem that they commissioned street artists to do it. So I believe that it changes every once in a while. So I don't think there's like a running theme. Although I will say there was this one area where they had this giant Mechagodzilla like construct, which was awesome.
That's right here.
And near the Mechagodzilla construct, they had some like Godzilla type of graffiti. So that was the only actual theme, if you will.
Okay.
So that's something for you guys to do next year. You just gotta start planning.
So,
Are you allowed to as outsiders? You know?
surprisingly, I went to a restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant mentioned graffiti on his front door at night when he shuts down the business and he has the metal roll down doors. He says that he likes to hire graffiti artists to paint something on his door. Otherwise, no regular taggers would just go there and tag up his door, which is like less desirable than having someone do a piece of artwork. And he says that the taggers usually will respect the space if it already has a piece of artwork on it. Like they won't tag over it. So, I don't know. Anyways. Let's go back to Jerry's. Food. Here's some shots of food. What was this? This is at my uncle's place?
No, this was the chicken rice. Oh God,
Oh.
I love that place.
Chicken rice, okay.
Wow. They make that rice look good.
This was like maybe like $2.
Just rice.
It's just so fucking good. Everything there, like, like the way of life there, they're much more laid back than most parts of Asia, and it's just very food and liquor centric. It's and like massage centric. It's such a great way of life.
This is breakfast right here.
Yeah. Oh God, that's near the On Park actually, and it's like this. It's got basil, cheese. It's so fucking good, man. I want to go back and eat it again.
There's so
Yeah,
many.
Be careful.
There's so many
Gain
small
weight.
shops that are just open for like breakfast or lunch, and they're super busy.
And when you had 4 breakfasts when you landed. Because
Yeah, I
that's
gained
funny.
weight like in the first 3 days. Like, I mean, I gained like, I gained weight like I gained a substantial amount of weight in like 4 days.
Wow, this stuff looks good. That's a fish head right there.
Oh,
That's a
was that
popular-
foam?
Oh, there's foam. Go back to the foam. Foam and uni. Look at that. And
It's so
what was the
gross.
drink that you had that tasted like ice cream?
Oh, so there was this one speakeasy part, which I thought was so funny because it was like in this dark alley on the side of a church, and there was no signs. You just go into this alley, and you get to this door, and there's no sign on the door. You open the door, and you're in this like super cool bar, and this drink. They made these cocktails. Like, I'm not into cocktails. I'm just a whiskey guy, I think cocktails are kind of stupid in general, but when in Rome, right? So I ordered this cocktail, and it was like some green tea cocktail thing, and it literally tasted like eating green tea ice cream, like just in a martini glass.
Do you have a picture of it, Jerry?
I do. It's on my phone though, because it
Oh,
just looks like a drink.
okay.
Like it's
It's a milkshake.
Well, it's like clear. Yeah, it doesn't look like.
Yeah,
You
it's
think
just
it's
a cocktail.
creamy.
It's-
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing was, it was very transparent, very clear, but it tasted like thick and creamy, like a milkshake.
And then these are pics of the convention that we were at.
And look at everyone surrounding you, video,
Yeah,
recording
look
you,
at
drawing.
that. The Americans are here.
This was at the end of the day. You can see the chairs are up already. But during the day, it was Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was like packed like sardines. I thought we were going to catch COVID again.
Look at all those ladies there.
Yeah, it was about 90% female. Both
so strange.
attendees and artists. So,
It's such a great show. Like, Bernard, do you agree with me that there's like I hate to say like an innocence to it? Like, there's a purity to the show where everyone's just so goddamn happy to be there.
yeah.
And they're not there to like make money or find the next hot. They're there just because they love it, and it's just so much more fun. It's so much more pure.
Right. So that's with the fans and the artists. I mean, most of the artists there are amateurs. They're either they have regular day jobs and this is like a hobby, or they're trying to build a professional career, or there are some pros, but not like Marvel DC pros. They're more manga. It's manga based, but yeah, I mean, everybody's there for the love of art, the appreciation of the medium of comics. This is us at the foot massage place one night. You can tell everybody was in pain. It was so painful getting a foot massage. It was French. There's Jerry. I have a video of Jerry, and he's just like laughing, but it's like pure pain, and it's not even like the guy was rubbing really hard. And Jerry's excited by it. You see his chest. Sean, have you ever gotten a foot massage?
No.
We should take
not
Sean
at
to
all.
get a foot massage.
I don't really do that massage stuff.
We went to the northern tip of Taipei, Taiwan. There was a fish market there. We got some fresh lobster, but it wasn't like a lobster. It looked more like a moth or like a cockroach. How would you explain it?
Well, they're close cousins, those cockroaches and lobsters.
It was delicious though. This was Joe Finn. This is what Fletch was mentioning earlier. Joe Finn is what Miyazaki based Spirited Away on.
Like brick by brick.
Yeah. I'll look at Fletch's in Fletch's Instagram. He has some more pictures of. Let me see here. Of Joe
Yeah,
Finn.
I've just been to Joe Finn too often, so I just didn't take that many pictures.
It's a visual cornucopia. Every time we've gone, it's rain. I've been to twice. And both times it's been like this kind of rainy. I like to go when it's not raining.
I've been there when it wasn't raining. It is a much more pleasant experience,
Yeah.
but it's one of the few things you can do in Taipei when it's raining, more or less problem free. So that's what makes it an even more valuable destination.
How much is a poncho in the U.S.? We all got ponchos. How much do you think a poncho was? Does chat know how much the poncho costs in the U.S.?
What does a poncho cost?
Yeah.
I actually have no idea. This is the first time I've ever gotten a poncho.
Link 52017 said he heard Alaska strippers fly out during a certain time of the year after tax season. Is that Alaska? That they fly to Alaska? Is that are we doing a bachelor party in Alaska? There is a comic book convention in Anchorage. We can time it. And a quick question: does a bachelor party has to be right before the wedding, or can you have a bachelor party anytime before the wedding? Does anybody know?
I mean, that's a question more for Sean to answer, right?
Well, you're gonna do that thing where he has to pull down his pants, and then the strippers kind of, beat him around, or just kind of abuse him
Yeah,
up on
that's if we
stage.
go to Montreal.
Yeah, because you know what that's about. It's you're punishing him for leaving our group, and then your main allegiance now is a woman, and you left us, so we're punishing you. But if we really wanted to punish it, we do it ourselves. But since it's kind of like mock punishing for fun, we have the ladies do it.
Really?
Is that true?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's some deep.
well, I don't think if anyone really,
psychological-
I don't know if they really set out to do that, but the fact it goes on and it's become a tradition, it's kind of what's behind it. These things are in the collective unconscious.
Okay.
I wasn't really planning on doing the whole strip club thing. I was just thinking of I don't know, food and booze, really. I I don't really
Yes,
care
but we
about
need
strip
to have
clubs
our
anymore.
satisfaction, though. We need to.
Yeah, it's not for you, Jerry.
You're leaving us, right? So
It's not for Jerry. I mean,
So you guys want to see my junk?
it's
That's
for
what
your
you-
boys.
we're gonna have your balls tied up like batang, and then steamed.
Oh, do you think they have that? You know, like in the Korean spas, they have a vaginal steam. Do you think they have like a male genital steam, where you sit on top of a chair that has a hole in it, and they boil some herbs?
and
No.
set it up your rear end.
Yeah, or your ball sack. This is getting a rated R stream.
I don't
Okay.
really want herbs sent up my bunghole.
Well, I mean, the wifey might enjoy it, you know. This is Shimin Ding right here, right? This video.
Yes.
You can tell most people are still wearing masks outside. Even though the mandate to wear masks outdoors has been lifted by the government, most people in Taiwan are still wearing masks outside, just as an effort to curb the spread. Okay. Overall,
Well, you don't have to wear a mask outside, though. I mean, it's inside, so it doesn't really help outside. So, a lot of times they tell me that women wear masks so they don't have to spend time putting on makeup.
right? Yeah. It is true. They had the government had enforced the mask mandate everywhere. But then when we showed up, they had just lifted the outdoor mandate. This was Fletcher and me at the airport lounge in Haneda. Fletch scrolls fairly fast here. We played a game of foosball. We
You guys had a foosball table at the lounge?
Yeah, this is the first class Japan Airlines first class lounge.
Well, la-di-da. I didn't get any of that.
And it was wooden. Look at that. It was nice.
That is some horse shit. I didn't get any of that.
And we had a free sushi. This is the curry meal.
How come no one's there except you guys?
Because it's the first class lounge. There's nobody there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so
I mean, come on,
Yeah,
we're not
they're
hanging
all
out with the savages, Sean.
So I'm a little jealous, and I want to ask everyone in chat here. My flight, I got free Johnny Walker Blue. Fletch's flight, he had free Yamazaki 12 year.
Wow.
Which is the better drink to have on your flight?
Oh,
Yamazaki 12 or Johnny Blue?
I think Johnny Blue, right?
I'm kind of leaning towards Yamazaki. I don't know.
I haven't had Yamazaki enough. I mean, Bill's here. Maybe Bill or D Rogers here. Maybe he can answer that. Or somebody that drinks a lot of whiskey. I mean, Johnny Walker Blue is more expensive. Foreign endorsement.
I don't know. I think Yamazaki might be more expensive nowadays.
Is it?
Just because of availability.
Right. Johnny Blue is overrated, says Golf Boy.
It's overpriced. I wouldn't say it's overrated. I think it's pretty goddamn delicious.
Yeah, it's
but
like
it
very
is
smooth.
overpriced.
I mean, and it is a blended whiskey, blended Scotch. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the purist would say, let's go with a single malt over. I mean, I would say I would rather drink a single malt than a blended Scotch, right? But Yamazaki 12 is harder to get than Johnny Walker
Yeah.
Blue.
I was kind of jealous of the Yamazaki,
Damn.
but I did enjoy quite a bit of Johnny Blue on my flights.
He got that because he flew business on the way back, right?
Yeah.
It's well worth the upgrade. You could probably drink a whole bottle. That's probably the price of the upgrade. Ponchos are...
The flight attendant, because I kept drinking so much Blue,
Yeah.
she came up to me like, I don't know, like on my 5th or 6th glass. And she was like, so you really like this stuff, huh?
Yeah, because Blue
Just
I was
was
like,
gave you
like,
the
give me
bottle.
another one. No, go fetch me another one, woman.
you can see the lounge is like pretty empty.
Yeah.
But Sean, we also got there like at 6 in the morning when it first opened, so there wasn't a lot of people there at the airport. Any other pictures, Jerry?
I mean, I've got a ton of pictures. It's too many to like go through. I kind of gave up.
I mean, Taiwan. There's most of the buildings in Taiwan are concrete. A lot of them were built early 50s, late 40s, all
Oh,
through
so
the
that
70s.
picture, apparently that sign says it's like a sex clinic, like sex disease clinic.
Oh,
like
really?
a really old-fashioned one for like prostitutes and everything.
Oh,
And Ivy was like, she thinks it's funny they left the sign up there just because foreigners like taking pictures in front of it because it looks nice.
where was this in Ximending area?
This is in Datong,
Datong. Okay, Datong's another. Yeah, so that's another district in Taipei.
which is very Ghost in the Shell looking.
This is with Johnny and Sharon. How's Johnny doing, by the way?
He's still in Thailand.
Oh, really?
So, I'll
Okay.
talk to him when he's back. Yeah.
I think I showed these last time. This is Johnny posing as a
Penis.
a phallic symbol. World Cup was going on. There's Vincent again. That's a different girl than the W, huh?
Vincent was with at least two girls every time I saw him.
The Prince of Taipei.
Two different girls, I
See,
should
look,
say.
That's a different girl. See Vincent in the background there? That's a different girl. Right? That's at the W.
It was impressive to say the least.
This is when we were waiting for our Uber or taxi. And this is Johnny and Jerry at the base of Taipei 101. You guys went to 101 a lot.
I only went there once.
Oh.
I think Fletch went a few times.
And this is Malcolm. Mishmash and foot massage. There, I'm sucking my stomach in as hard as I can. And that's Spanx too. You know, when you're old, you gotta wear Spanx. All right. Well, I think that's it. Are there any questions from chat? Thank you, Dr.
When are you gonna
Midnight.
draw?
Dr. Midnight's been gifting subs while we've been chatting. Gifted a sub
Oh,
to
man.
Seconth. Gifted a sub to Vorendor. Thank you so much. He's gifted 132 subs. Holy cow. I got some surprise gifts for Dr. Midnight. Okay, let's jump into Dr. Midnight's comic. How about that? You want to take a look at this? What does Dr. Midnight want? Like, what kind of critique is he looking for in terms of from us on his comic? It's already printed, so it's already out. And it seems like it's a little bit more of a comic strip than a comic book format.
Are you showing it?
Yeah, I'm looking for it in this. Here it is. Okay.
Golf Boy Sonny's been to Taiwan 5 times and never been to Taipei.
What?
Joy.
Golf Boy Sunday. Where do you go if you've been in Taiwan? You go to Kaohsiung. Go to Taichung. Taichung and Kaohsiung are the two other largest cities in Taiwan. Most of the cities are on the western coast facing China, mainland China. There are a few cities on the eastern coast that faces the Pacific Ocean, but not a lot because there's a lot of typhoons. So, Normally Kaohsiung. Kaohsiung is a very relaxed city. It's on the southernmost city in Taiwan. And Hsinchu. Okay, Hsinchu is like the newest city. So Dr. Midnight says
Wait.
it's a comic strip.
Dr. Midnight's real name is Michael DeFonte.
Uh-huh. Do you know Michael?
No, I don't. That's just not what I would have expected.
What'd you expect?
I don't know. It's just, it's always interesting to hear like the real names,
And it's always interesting to see them in real life too. Sometimes they don't. They look different than what you think they are. It's a comic strip he did in the last few months. He's writing a comic book on the side. Hopefully he'll get to start on it in January. Okay. All right. Fields of Glory 2022 collection. Okay. Let's scroll through this. Dr. Midnight, do you want to give a little bit of setup to this book that we're looking at, or is looking for a serious critique of anatomy and design? If it's well written and it makes sense each page. Okay. Did you publish this originally as individual comic strips, and then now you're collecting it into a book, kind of like what Calvin and Hobbes, or right? But it's one linear story, I'm assuming. I was in Kaohsiung in July, August this past year. First time there. Love the city. Very relaxed. There's even a surfer culture in southern Taiwan.
Wow.
Can I make a quick comment?
Uh-huh.
The font seems a little small. It seems a little not the easiest to read the way it's laid out, and the word balloons are too perfect. Two perfect ovals.
Uh-huh.
And like that type on the business card. Well, first part of the number is going over his finger, and then it's too straight. It's not like bending with the card itself.
Uh-huh.
So just some things to like be careful with.
Yeah,
because
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like,
you gotta draw the word balloons, not just make a circle. You know what I mean?
or what I do is like you can go into Photoshop, you can draw the perfect ellipse, but then there's a tool that allows you to make it a little bit more boxier. So it gives you like a squared off ellipse, and that fits the type really well. I think that's what Marvel and all the professionals letters use, that program that allows you to square off the ellipses a little bit. And I think like your font problem can be solved. You can go up one size in font or two sizes, and then the space in between, I think is bigger than it needs to be. So you can actually squeeze it together. So it wouldn't make the balloon bigger. It's just that you'll use the empty space between the type a little smaller. And yeah, I would say like the ballooning and the lettering is more important than you think, because you can take any comic and make it look really great by putting if you do the job well, it becomes invisible, but if you don't do it well, it kind of really sticks out, and then it can make really great artwork look kind of unprofessional. So that's one thing that's separate from your art. So art is very hard to do, but you can, with a little bit of a tutorial, whatever, get to know what professional lettering looks like, and then you can do it, and then your work looks so much better. So I think that's one thing I noticed too, is that it's the typical thing where you use a perfect ellipse around the words, and it doesn't work as well as if you hand draw it. I know like those cartoons kayfabe guys use French curves and everything to draw the balloon shapes. So maybe something in between what you have. I mean, you have some that are completely hand drawn, and you have some that are just generated by the computer, and you need that perfect thing in between, which is the squared off ellipses.
Yeah,
But I like your style though. It's very, very edgy.
Yeah, this is not by any means like the only way of doing it, but I like to make a JPEG of the page that I'm working on, and then I open it up in Adobe Illustrator, because I just find the graphic tools in Illustrator are way easier and faster to use than in Photoshop. So I like to do all the type in Illustrator, and then I copy and just paste it into a different layer in Photoshop.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I
It
do.
takes the same amount of time, but it's just so much easier doing it in Illustrator than Photoshop.
Yeah,
Whoa, one of them sideways.
Illustrator will allow you to reshape some of the balloons, play with the type. Also, the little, what do they call the little tails from the balloons? They call them tails.
They're tails. Yeah.
You can also adjust the tails in Illustrator because it's a vector. You can, move the points, curve them. I think because this is a collection of comic strips, the first thing that pops out to me is the inconsistency in the font. There's different fonts that you're using. There's CC Wild Words. At one point I recognized that, and then there's some other comic font that you're using. The sizes of the fonts, the spacing, are all like the first. Let's see, the first comic, the first strip here is first two. You have a particular one font. The third or fourth one, the font changes to another font. It's still a comic type font, but it's a different one. And then the size, the changes also, as well as the leading.
If I can say something to all you guys making comics, bookmark this website on all your computers, thefont.com, DAFONT. That website, it's free downloadable fonts, and you can type in whatever you want to see. Like, let's say the title of your comic is Monkey Prince. You can type in Monkey Prince, and it will show you every font in the word with the words Monkey Prince.
Oh.
So it's very user friendly, and I would highly recommend it to everyone.
Let me see here. Let me pull that
So
up.
you're gonna remember that, Michael DeFont, that website.
This is the font site here.
It's funny. His last name is DeFont.
I just learned something new today. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean that's I never knew that. That's always a big problem for me.
Yeah, this is I picked this up when I was doing graphic design for clothing, so it's a pretty awesome website. It's all for free, and they're safe, so you can download them worry-free. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Half the fonts on my computer are from this website, so.
That's a good resource. So if you type in, where do I type it in?
You'll see on the top, over the ABCD on the right corner. You can put. I believe there's some part where it's like you can preview your type. I haven't been to it in a little while.
Oh no, this is.
Is that like a search? Sorry.
That's a search here. Type your font here.
Hubby Bunny.
Hubby. Okay, you can submit a font, themes, fonts.
That's cool.
Well, I guess you can play around with it. Let me bookmark this. Thank you, Jerry. Okay. So, a lot of times, as artists, we don't really think about word balloons that often. It's, you throw it on at the end. And you focus more on the drawing and the layout, the coloring or shading. And then the word balloons, like boom, 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 you put it on, you're done. But at the same time, the word balloons can also tremendously affect the overall presentation of the work
more than
itself.
you think.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, yeah.
And so, I would say, some of this too. There's different stylings in word balloons. And Tommy likes to, when a word balloon is let's say if you say the third panel, the first panel, and the third panel, the word balloons basically touch the edge of the panel. It creates kind of, this is technically a tangent, right? And that becomes very jarring, at least to me, in my eyes. I hate this kind
Yeah,
of,
your eye goes there and it stops.
Right.
So yeah, you should either bust through or keep clear, but don't have it touch.
Yeah, and in some of those instances where you're busting through, the word balloon forms a negative space with the line of um, with the
Yeah, I
panel
like that a
border.
lot. Yeah, so it kind of creates like a hole.
Yeah, let me see if I can find some Atami stuff that has word
You
balloons.
you can also look up Walt Simonson does a really nice job of incorporating graphic and type into his artwork. Sound effects, if you will. He uses those very well.
And the one thing you're doing right is that there's a good amount of breathing space between the word block and then the balloons. A lot of times amateurs like really just fill the balloon with words and then it feels like really cramped. In general, like anything where the arrows go into the balloon, the at the point of contact, it's always a unified width. So the arrow is always the same size, no matter how long the arrow is. Where it touches the balloon, it's that same thickness where it joins all the time, so that you don't get like a real fat arrow and a real thin one.
So this is an example of where like, the word balloon, he's overlapping two panels with the word balloons up here with the Owen. What are you doing back in the bam, 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 bam. Then also please Mr. on the bottom. But there's a cohesive styling to how he's doing the word balloons. So here, this is an example of, he kind of does it here on the first panel. He doesn't do it in the second or third panels. But even in the first panel
Yeah,
where
right there.
can you not rev it so loud and it breaks the top of the panel into the bleed gutter area, that creates a visual kind of aesthetic. And so also the other aspect of this is the readability of the fonts, but then also just the placement of the word balloons themselves. That also helps move your eye through the panels and through the artwork. So, for example, like, and I know you don't want to come on here to hear about word balloons, but like here you have like the first panel. There's 3 connecting word balloons. So there is also like a school of thought where do you break it into 3 separate word balloons with tails, or right now you only have one tail at the end, but you're connecting the balloons. And some of that is in the dialogue, in which if I'm saying something and then I pause and then I say something else and I pause, if you're connecting them, they should be connecting thoughts versus 2 or 3 separate thoughts, even though it's the same person saying it in a row. Those are all kind of varying small degrees of storytelling points, but at the end of the day, they become huge things, because right off the bat, I mean, we spent like 10 minutes talking about word balloons, and it's not, you didn't even expect probably us to talk about word balloons, but because that's the first thing we see almost in a lot of cases, it kind of
James Quo's asking, he's got a question about word balloons. The tail, does it go onto the first or the last balloon?
Yeah, I don't even know.
I always add to the last.
yeah, it should be yeah, it doesn't, I don't really know if there's a right way of doing that. But hi, K-pop junkie. But I think that's your own personal preference. Jerry's right on the business card here. It is a little jarring, and that's an easy fix if you're doing all this in Photoshop. Photoshop command Apple T transform and warp, WARP, and then you can kind of warp it. It curves and you can align that to the edge of the business card. Um,
Yeah, I think we're making a big deal about the word balloons because art is subjective and like the style can be very underground and edgy, so you can't really. I mean, that's your style, but there is a right and wrong with the word balloons. I think people kind of understand like, well, this looks professional and this doesn't. So we can say stuff for sure about the word balloons. The art is its own thing, so I think it's a very expressive style and it has like a charm of its own. So we really can't say too much about it because it's, you know, that's very subjective.
Well, I would say this about, and again, sorry to keep talking about word balloons, but it is the last, typically, it's the last thing added to the page, right?
yeah.
I believe that's when we're finishing up, put in the word balloons, put in the dialogue, right? Typically, in anything in life, the last thing you do is the first thing everyone sees. So even though it's the last thing, in a weird way, you kind of have to just give it that extra little bit of attention because it's going to be the first thing that everyone sees.
Right. And I think overall, again, for me, if all of the word balloons had a more consistent feel, um, and that this is a compilation of different comic strips, so I can understand where it might have been a month or a couple months in between one strip and the other, and you might have just wanted to try something different. Um, Again, it's the overall finished presentation because it's like if you were making a meal and you spent an hour cooking this filet mignon steak and you had this best uni topping with foam on it, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to put it on a paper plate, or um, it kind of lost it at the finish line um, when the meal itself uh, you had spent so much effort on. So word balloons really become kind of just the secondary thought that really does also play an equal importance in the overall final presentation. About the drawing and storytelling. Um,
There's a lot of bold down shots, though. I think you're ambitious with your. I mean, you break out of the eye level shots quite a bit, which is really good. And I think one thing I know is I think you can brush up on the drapery a little bit with the clothing and everything, um, the way it hangs and folds. If you study and do some studies from life and just understand how folds work, I think you'll come up with a much more convincing wardrobe on a lot of them.
I mean, there is a good differentiation in the wardrobes and in the acting. I think one of the stronger points is a lot of your characters. They're doing a lot of very expressive things with their hands, with their faces. So you're really beginning to tackle a lot of that, which is great. They're not all kind of stiff and sitting there. They're all kind of doing something with their hands and
It's not just a bunch of headshots, which is nice.
right. I do like the attention to details, where you have a lot of sometimes simplified, although simplified backgrounds. There's a lot of line work or hatching involved in the rendering of the faces and figures. What Sean said about the folds in the clothing is very on point. I think a lot of times I'll scroll back to like this shot of the three guys here. The guy no one likes to play. It seems like a lot of this you're drawing from your head, and I would just take a moment and you can pull up an easy Google search or go to like I don't know. Sometimes I go to like Nike.com or Adidas or clothing fashion like streetwear sites, and I look at some of the models and if they're wearing hoodies or if they're wearing sweatshirts or t-shirts or baggy pants or specific kind of pants or clothing. I kind of see how they're draped on the figure, and that really is a great reference point. Um, a lot of artists like to just draw from their heads. Um, I would say you really need to find a decent balance in that. Um, to kind of sell a little bit more, especially with these varying characters. The clothing really helps define and separate different characters within the comic strip itself. I don't know if that makes any sense. I mean, Sean, what do you do when you're confronted with like folds in clothing?
I think in the beginning you do have to study from life, and in the beginning you use reference a lot. After a while, like you think that folds are so random and so organic and anything goes. It's not really true. I mean, there is a science behind it, and there's just a way that gravity affects clothing, and when things bend, it's not like the clothing is finite in its mass. So when it folds, it'll bunch up in certain areas. It'll get tight in areas, and you'll realize like when you draw elbows and shoulder joints and the knees, you end up seeing, if you're drawing from life, the same shapes over and over again. They kind of repeat. And after a while, you kind of commit that to memory, and you don't have to look anymore at reference, and then you can draw convincing clothing that's out of your head.
Dr. Midnight, did you draw these digitally, or were they drawn traditionally, pen and ink on paper? Would be my first question here. Anthony Wheeler Art, good to see you. K-pop Junkies here.
Oh, these are digital.
These are digital, okay. So if they're digital, are you drawing them on Procreate, or are you drawing them in Photoshop, or what is it, Clip Art, Clip Studio Art, Manga Studio Art?
Yeah, Clip Studio Paint is what he's using.
Paint. Yeah, I don't use Clip Studio Paint, but I do think they have like a perspective tool or a grid tool that would help also in some of this. Clayton Henry. Let me go to Clayton Henry's site.
Yeah, when Clayton draws, every single panel is a very light perspective grid, and it just makes everything much more convincing. And I think when you lay the grid down there before you start drawing, if it's just a blank page, sometimes you can't really picture the space, but you put the grid there, all of a sudden, like, you can see the room, and you can you can imagine it, and you just start picking out lines that kind of reinforce what you're imagining. But things like that, like in that one panel where there's some radiating lines, the radiating lines they don't radiate from the same point. Like the perspective lines and the guide tools that you can get digitally will help with that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're also, again, the only reason I'm asking is if you're using digital, you really take advantage of the digital components. So really having that grid there in the background, you'll notice I kind of have it in mind some of the times. Even in this piece by Clayton, that top panel, you can kind of see like he's overlapping. That looks like a photo reference, the piece of a building. But even with the figure, there's always this constant 3D background in there, and it helps really kind of not like a pun, put things in perspective when you're drawing. So really take advantage of some of that. This is the thing where he's transforming. Oops, in this video he's transforming, or he's just moving the S into Superman. That's actually probably a graphic.
Could I pile on something to the clothing thing?
Mm-hmm.
I always think this is the way it was explained to me, which is kind of simplified and like a dumbed down way of learning it. There's points of tension on your body, correct? Like on your joints, your elbows, your knees, your neck, your fingers, and your toes. So wherever there's a point of tension, the clothing is obviously it should reflect that as well. So like if the guy's just standing there straight, even if he's just literally standing straight with his hands on his hips, the chest could be like straight, but around his shoulders and his elbows, the clothing will be folded up a little bit more than every other part of the arm. Wherever he puts, whichever leg has more weight on it, there's going to be some, like the tension should reflect in the clothing as well, if that makes sense. Because that actually, for me, made a lot of sense.
So let's say here, I use a lot of these clothing sites. Okay, oh, this is not.
Yeah, man, I draw people wearing like jeans all the time, and you find out after drawing over and over again from reference is that the thigh and the calves are all like clear of wrinkles mostly, and then they all tend to bunch around the crotch and the knees and then the ankles, and you just kind of notice that. So I can just draw all that stuff from memory now, and there's a point where the clothing stretches and becomes clear, and there's a part of the bend where it bunches up, and you'll find that it ends up being the same over and over again because it follows the rules of physics, and we all bend to the rules of physics. And once you get to know it, then you can draw it convincingly without reference.
Yeah, so here, especially like you're choosing a lot of very difficult angles with your 3/4 down shots or 3/4 up shots. And I feel like some of the lines that you're putting in, this is the earlier strips. In the clothing, you're kind of putting in lines, not really fully understanding the actual folds, but you feel like, oh, I need it. The sleeve might be kind of, oh, sorry, let me get this out of here. Like the sleeve might be kind of empty, or the shirt might be kind of empty. So I'm going to, so if I can, let me put some of this.
But you can see how gravity tends to push all the folds toward the bottom of the arm.
Yeah.
So it ends up bunching up around the wrist, but it's kind of smooth up toward the shoulder. It's just, that's kind of the effects of gravity, and that's, you can draw that illusion, and when people see that you've captured that illusion, all of a sudden it creates some sort of like, wow, this guy's a really good artist type of feel.
So if I were to mirror this first, this first panel that you have.
They drew that head like 3/4 from behind, which is, like, good job not avoiding difficult things to draw. Yeah, this is one of the more ambitious panels that you drew. It's the scene from above in perspective. You can draw the same thing and just flatten out the perspective and make it easy. And that's kind of like a thing that a lot of people do. Even pros do it if they feel they don't feel like figuring things out. But you got that looking down from 3/4, and that guy's, you can still see his face and his expression, even though you're seeing him mostly from behind, which is kind of cool.
You guys doing anything for the New Year's?
It's probably too damn cold to do anything.
I'm coming over, Sean.
You guys are probably gonna drink hundreds of dollars worth of alcohol or something.
How many bottles of whiskey do we have in our place for that? From
The Airbnb.
Yeah.
We went through a lot.
But what really blows my mind is that I found out that the only liquid that a human being ever has to consume practically in your whole life is water, and it just so happens to be free. And I think that's a loophole that we can all get behind.
Well, I love water, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, Jerry drinks a lot of water.
Yeah, well, it's free, and
It's delicious.
I don't know about that.
you can pay a lot for a liquid that you drink.
I think Fletch is back.
Fletch is back? Is done
Someone
with dinner?
came in. No way.
Hey, just stopping by, saying hey. We wrapping up a little bit.
What's that?
That was fast.
Oh, it was good. We're waiting for dessert, so.
This is cool. Bernard's redrawing this panel. It's kind of
Is it a full erase?
No, no erase because it's
No, it's-
digital.
Ah,
He didn't want to
You're gonna
get
bring in some of those perspective grids in it or something.
I guess I already started drawing the stuff, but
That's actually really funny.
I don't have. I think this guy is a little bit taller than right now how it stands.
That's probably from the spatula.
This guy's probably standing a little bit too high, but
Yeah, I mean the perspective of the shelf kind of says that he's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
So, but
because if this is a younger kid, he's you figure the top shelf. There's 3 shelves already. There's 3 shelves in the background. So we're kind of reverse engineering stuff.
Hey, Dr. Midnight, where can we pick up this book?
By the way, what should we be drawing today? We're about an hour in.
is
hour
there
and a
time
half
to
in.
draw still?
Yeah. Let's try to get one drawing done. I might stream again this week for the New Year's, but I don't know. I want to get back, like the prior years for New Year's, I've been taking a day to draw Gatchaman. I didn't get to do this last year due to deadlines. And really, I don't
That's a
think
New Year's thing.
yeah, like a New Year's Eve kind of thing.
New Year's Eve Gatchaman drawing.
But this year also, I got deadline. I got a deadline next week, so I really shouldn't be doing any extra drawings.
You know, one thing I noticed about your drawing here is that the figure and the background are all in the same perspective. So I think that's one thing you can just be aware of how perspective works, because I think originally the guy that you drew, he's kind of in one perspective, and the other people, and we get the point, so it's good enough. I mean, we get the idea. But if you know how perspective works, it affects everything and every object in the scene. So you can see how when Bernard's drawing, his body is receding as it goes down.
Yeah, because if we were to draw an arrow, this is what the arrow would look like.
And you can practically see his feet right at the bottom.
This guy's feet.
Yeah.
Guy at the shelf. So how, again, how you have this would actually, the shelving would actually be a lot lower.
This is the Kim Jung-gi lesson you have to take over for Master Yi, who just basically, I think every lesson he talks about perspective and putting people and objects in the same perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about seeing the entire picture as you're drawing it, as opposed to just drawing pieces of the picture. If you're just drawing pieces of the torso, right, because you don't have to figure out where the leg is, then you're going to run into let me see, you're going to run into problems where there's the buttocks.
He's got an arrow going through his body.
That's just for reference. This leg is a little too long. Because a lot of times, because of the shape of the panel, right? You already know that you're starting with a kind of horizontal. You're only drawing this part. You're only drawing what's fitting in, but without seeing the entire picture, understanding that where all this other pieces are going, um, you're kind of cheating a little bit. Um, yeah, you can get away with it sometimes, but at the end of the day, in terms of artistic development, um, that's where you're probably lose out on. Yes, you'll get the page done, or you'll get the comic strip done, but how much artistic growth do you have, or will you progress in your artistic journey? Is the other answer, or is the other question, right? Um,
Yeah, I can kind of tell that it's very early on in your art career and you're kind of feeling things out. That's why I like some of the word blues are different and some of the treatments are different on some of the pages. So I was really digging those pages that have the gray tone, like the zipper-tone digitally put in there. It gives everything a volume, and because right now in your drawing of that one panel, there's only one or kind of black area, and you do the thing where you put the black in on the black objects. Like both of those guys have black hair, so you color that black. But in comics, there's shadows and everything. And sometimes shadows are like 60% gray. That's also a black area, and that kind of gives volume to things. So there's some gray shading, but they're in areas like some boxes and some things on the shelves. So maybe get used to spreading the black areas out beyond objects that are just truly black. Like if the guy's wearing a black shirt, you would color that black. But if it was a gray shirt, then it would be white, and the way you do it. So just remember that shadows are deep black, and then also just spread the gray areas around and kind of use it to lead your eye around the page. So and I can see like in later pages you're doing that more, and then the digital gray tones also. But you can see like there's a lot of development going on just in these pages. So you keep this up for like a couple of years, and you're gonna be like vastly improved. Because these later pages are improving a lot,
right.
just in the span of a few pages.
And you're really tackling a lot of very difficult angles. Like even this one where you have kind of a 3/4 upshot. That's probably one of the hardest, mainly because of the chin. The chin area down here underneath connecting to the neck. It's very different. Like a lot of times we're used to drawing this jawline. But how do you draw this fatty area underneath? What is this called? The underneath this chinnius? What is the proper medical
The
term?
hyoid area.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this I would run the reference like like there's no tomorrow, because this is tough to draw. Always.
Yeah, and you have it here too. Like some of this like linear stuff where you're getting into details. I kind of really beginning to dig it. Um,
It's a cool style.
Can I say something about the gray tones?
uh-huh.
Like right here with the left panel, or that's on purpose. But on some of the panels, on that second panel on the left, where the kid's sitting in the car, in the back seat, and even in the fifth panel where he's standing in the store and you're looking down at him, the grays are a little too similar. So I know it's hard because you only have like so many grays to choose from, but I would try to play around with some textures, maybe use white a little bit better, or like if I'm gonna go gray tones, I hate having stark white, like 100% white. So one trick I like to do when you're doing a gray tone thing like this, just go ahead and make everything 10% gray. So it's a really light gray, so that you remove the white, and then you will just add in the white later on. when you need it, instead of trying to fill in spots. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I think when you remove all the white, it kind of helps you see things better, if that makes sense. Because there's too many grades that are just way too similar, and I think when it does come out to print, it's just going to kind of blend into each other and get a little muddy there.
Oh, it's raining. Let me do this real quick, and then we'll jump to Sean. Do you have an idea what we're drawing today? You want to draw Avatar? I don't really want to draw Avatar. Do we have time for a drawing? I gotta get it.
Let me answer Jeremy Joe's question about the balance. There is a Sean Gordon Murphy thing called the 25-75 rule, where you either have the panel be 75% white and 25% black, or 75% black and 25% white. What you want to avoid is the 50% black, 50% white, because then the shading has no point of view or no direction. And that's just a very, very general rule. And I don't know how many people actually make their panels 75% black, but the idea is that you just try to avoid the middle range, which is very wishy-washy.
Okay, so let's see here. We'll do this last thing before we jump to the sketch for the day. We can jump back to this next stream as well, Dr. Midnight. Let's see, if I were to tackle this, it's very well. The first thing I would do is I would use my camera on my phone. I can't really see because I have a beard, but take a picture of myself.
Right? Oh, in that position?
In that position to try to get that. Or the other option is, I think we mentioned this earlier on a previous stream, there's an app that I think you'll find it's called Handy, Handy. And there's a free option and there's a paid option. Let's say we use a male head. So it gives you like a 3D head, and you can move it and get almost the right angle that you want. Now there's no
Holy crap.
There's no expression on this, but it gives you a basic kind of
wow.
And then you can also choose
crazy.
You can choose the lighting. So you can move, let's say, okay, I want that, but I want to zoom in, zoom out, and then I want to choose the lighting, so I can rotate the light depending on where the light source is.
Holy moly.
And it gives me kind of a general guide. So this really becomes very handy. Thus the name Handy, I guess, not just hands. So if I wanted to, I could basically
yeah, I mean, there are things you should use about this. This will help out a lot.
So
it also can hurt a little bit.
Handy, Handy.
Yeah. And it could hurt a little bit in that you only can draw generic blank expressions. So use it in the way that helps, but don't use it in other ways that hurt, you know.
So what I'm doing is I just took a screenshot of that. Right. Uh-oh. And now it's on my computer. Now it's on my iPad. I've transferred it onto my iPad. And,
now you're gonna do a trace job. But this is a good point, though. There are a lot of people who start out drawing, like they're trying to break into the business, and we see their work, and it's obvious that they don't use photo reference, as if I think they might think that's cheating, whatever. But you can see, like, as professional artists, Bernard and I have been working for like almost 30 years. We use photo reference all the time. I don't know how much of that is the reason why we get a lot of work, but there is nothing wrong with doing this. I think it's more important when you're beginning to lean heavily on photo reference, because number one, it makes your work look better, and number two, it teaches you a lot, so you don't keep drawing in a vacuum. Like there's no outside input coming in, and you keep on. You don't know if you're making a mistake. You'll make it over and over again because there's no outside reference informing you. So, I mean, just don't think that we draw out of our heads all the time. That's not the truth at all. I mean, one of the reasons I'm so slow is because I'm always looking for a reference that'll improve my work, which will get me more jobs.
So this you again. Um, of course, this model has a fairly thick. See, the question is this ambiguous area right here on the chin. What do you use? What lines do you use? If you do this line here, right, that flattens this whole area out. You can't really use that, and it kind of looks awkward. How do you?
Yeah, and then with that, it looks very chiseled. There are some things you draw, there are just no solutions for.
So this is something that you could do this in a sense of perhaps just as a learning, and then you would just then redraw it. And what this is again, this is the eyeball.
Give him that crazy hair. That's kind of cool. That kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like stylistic choices that you made that make it very interesting and kind of wild and out there.
Yeah, I like it that the detail where you're drawing the seams and the collar and the stitches and everything, like the hyper detail, is cool. It's like very underground. Like you said, like Fantagraphics, I think is a perfect home for this type of stuff.
But also, if you're going to draw in this style, be consistent in it throughout the entire series. And if it's a project that you're just exploring, you're going to have variances in the artwork because, again, you're drawing it over a course of time, over an entire year. It could be weeks to months before you draw the same characters again. Next time you come back, you've improved. But then what you'll find is there's inconsistencies between the earlier work and the later work. And that's something that you have to. So if this guy is saying stuff, right, I would look at again. I don't have that on my camera, but I would. Oh, that's not a good picture. Let me see here. So I would do that, get a kind of an idea. If the mouth is open, I can probably see a little bit of the upper teeth.
So like he's actually using reference for all these difficult things, and he's been drawing for 3 decades, and he still will use reference. At the very least, it makes things easier. And you'd be surprised, like some of the best artists out there, who are like really technical masters. Like I was surprised that they lean so heavily on photo reference, and it doesn't really show in their work. But I mean, Joe Quesada almost always uses photo reference, and Stuart Immerman is always snapping pictures of him and his wife.
Yeah. And referencing is you constantly, cause you're drawing from real life. It just makes your work more legit. There's a difference between referencing and tracing, but at the same time,
John Paul is a master at taking photo reference and then creating something that's totally unique and his own.
yeah, he redraws everything, but he photo references everything before he starts. So he has built up a library of stuff. So if we're this is here, where's the hairline?
Draw the hair.
Anyways, he's going to have a thinner neck than the Handsy model or the Handy model.
Oh, so you diverge from that model already because you opened his mouth.
Yeah,
And that kind of solved the problem of the under chin area.
right. Because now I'm drawing the bottom of the chin. But this is a very difficult angle already.
It's one of the hardest.
Then where is he looking? He's looking. Okay. Jerry, do you have an idea of what I should draw?
Didn't we? What was that? That family thing.
Oh, the family thing. Okay, let's do that. Do we need to do a
Is
poll
that a
or?
very visual thing?
Oh, what was the poll that we're gonna do? Let's do a poll in chat. Completely separate. This is a poll as to when we should retire Hubby Hubby or Hubba Hubba. Should the retirement of the Hubba Hubba be now or when he gets married? Right? Now or when married? Okay, I'll give it a 2-minute poll. You guys can vote up top if you want in the chat.
Oh, so Dr. Midnight is a big John Paul Leon fan and was actually looking for a lot of his work. I mean, it's too bad you missed out on that huge coffee table edition that Bernard put out.
We have some extra copies that hopefully we'll still be able to bring out slowly. I think John's family is in the process of setting up a website where we have a few extra copies that you guys can purchase from them. They can mail out of the Winterman Artist Edition. But yeah, John Paul is an example for before he draws every project, he sources out all the reference material with the clothing, with the equipment, the environments, the people, and then he'll use that like basically on the side of his table and then redraw everything. So
I think the video has frozen for me.
oh, it has?
Yeah.
It's still working for me.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just me then.
Okay. Let me. What is this family thing that we're
What is it? STX? SPF? Sam Bankman-Fried?
we got about 10 seconds left in the poll. It looks like we're not going to retire Hubba Hubba until you get married.
I think people just want to keep using it. But you know, when you do get married, they're going to want to keep on using it somehow.
Do you have an estimated date as to when you're going to tie the knot?
I'm guessing it's going to be the end of next year, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh, by the way, I got these things in the mail. I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram. These are like nibs that go on top of your Apple Pencil. I would not recommend these things. I tried them out.
I hardly, I mean, the pencil, I don't think anyone ever uses anything but the standard nib, right? It seems to be fine.
Yeah, the Apple Pencil comes with just the standard nib, but then I have like a film
Paper
on top
screen?
Yeah,
We have that, yeah. The screen protector that feels like paper.
but it wears off fairly quickly for me. The coarseness of it.
I got to take off, guys.
Okay.
So I will talk to you guys later and see everyone next year.
You still talking to your
Okay.
fiance every night now that you're engaged?
Yeah, you don't gotta do that anymore.
Yeah.
You got her. You locked her in, so you can keep on playing poker with the guys now, right?
Well, I got to go, guys.
Okay. Happy holidays. Good to have you
Later,
back.
guys.
All right, happy holidays. Fuck, I just spilled all these seeds on my keyboard.
Seeds? Are you
Yeah.
growing pot?
No, for the birds.
Oh, okay. You ever see that? There's this one Instagram site. I forgot what it's called, but this bird, like, there's a lot of birds that have this alopecia where they have no feathers,
Oh yeah, those are the
and
cutest
they look
birds.
really weird, like aliens. But like they'll have like only one feather coming out of his head or
Right.
something.
Yeah, it is like a
Uh,
alopecia.
it's called
Uh,
Blondie the lovebird or something like that. Blondie the lovebird is this naked bird.
Blondie
They
is
kind
one
of
of
make him do
them.
tricks all the time.
Rhea is Rhea is one of the fear. Rhea the naked
Yeah.
birdie.
It's cool. I mean, a lot of people think it is kind of ugly. It's kind of gross, but it's kind of cool too. Like if I had a bird, like would it be against the law to just to pull all its feathers off? Because it's kind of cool.
That might be against the law, Sean. But Rhea the naked birdie. Show this Rhea the naked bird.
I mean,
Rhea
you can.
actually is.
It's weird because you can see the supermarket chicken in it. You know.
Yeah, but you don't realize like how little meat these birds have. You know.
Yeah. It's so weird looking.
Look at that.
Yeah. And that it looks like it belongs in the meat aisle, but you know.
Well, whenever I take Beavis and Butthead to the, this Rhea bird has since passed away, but there's some video of it.
Maybe it froze to death because it's so damn cold.
I think it's just the feather is a disease and also speeds up their impending death. There's a really cool one. Too bad I still haven't figured out how to get audio from the Instagram, but because it's a naked bird, people send in sweaters. They knit sweaters for this bird, right? So here's one with a blue sweater.
Oh wow, that yellow sweater.
And this, yellow sweater. So you know, there's one with a cape, like a Superman cape. It's hilarious. Let me find it. Here it is. This one.
The yellow one.
Look at this one. Someone knit the bird like a Superman cape, and you see it running. It's like a dinosaur, basically. I mean, the Superman song is playing in the background. Do you guys hear the audio of that? No.
No.
Yeah. Look at that. They're so cute. I don't know. I wish my birds were like this. That way, I can control them a little bit more.
Yeah, and you'd be rich too.
Yeah. This one had 164,000 likes, and bunch of other restreams. Anyways, what is the thing that we're doing? SPK.
Yeah, did our chat freeze? No, it's not really going.
I think we lost everybody. We're 2 hours in. We haven't even started drawing yet. What is SP family? I think we lost everybody.
What is it? SP. Oh, here it comes. SP Spy X family. So does that mean you have to draw a family? Like you have to draw like 3 people?
Spy family. I have to draw 3 people.
Oy.
Spy family.
Maybe you just keep it to their heads.
So I guess these are the 3 people. Now, can anybody explain a little bit about the Spy family? Shit, I have to draw three characters.
But they're kind of anime. They're very basic shapes. So that's really good drawing.
Yeah. Very subtle.
And the hair
soft.
is really, really bouncy and full of volume.
Especially the pink girl, right? Yeah. Okay,
but look at the 2 girls have completely different face shapes.
Dad is a spy, mom is an assassin, daughter is a psychic. Okay. Fuck. Maybe I should break this down into another stream later this week. In the spirit of Dr. Midnight, let's do the father with the 3/4 upshot.
So it's cool to compose 3 elements in one drawing. It's harder to compose 4.
Why is that?
So, I don't know, some kind of Japanese rule of 3s. Because I think when you have 4 objects, you tend to end up having 4 quadrants, and then it just flattens out. So with 3, you can. It makes sense. You're putting the father, you assume, is the tallest, and he's kind of like the leader of the family, so he's at the top. And then it makes sense you see him from below because he's up there, and then you can get the other 2 down below, and then you have a nice composition that has the right tension.
Oh, I got it.
It kind of keeps your eye moving.
Okay. I got one. Let's sorry, let's stick with this camera seems to be readjusting.
It's like focusing on your hand when
Yeah.
it gets a
Let
focal point.
me readjust the camera here. The settings, autofocus. Take the autofocus out.
This is a great art style. This whatever is it a I mean, is it an anime or is it just a manga? So everyone was picking this, and it's not even a TV show because it doesn't really hit critical mass when it's on Netflix.
Is it a TV show? It's not a TV show yet?
I assume, I mean, if everyone knows it, I assume it would be on TV.
So once I've drawn it, I can draw it again. Right? So now I'm basically just out of muscle memory what I drew earlier on the iPad upshot through Handy. And the manga is going to have...
Oh, whoa, look at that. Look at that. His eye and his nose are... His nose is between his eyes.
Yeah. Does he have a specific gun he likes to use, the father?
So season 1 of the anime started this year.
Is there still a debate right now about the manga versus American comics in the world of
What's the debate?
that manga is destroying American comics?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, it is, but I mean, it deserves. I think more than ever, American comics has always been in trouble. As long as we've been in comics, it's always on the edge of shutting down.
Yeah, I mean,
But
even
I
when we
think it
started,
feels like-
they just shut it
Yeah,
down.
but don't you think that I don't know, it just seems like there's more reasons now, or the reasons are more legitimate now. I mean, it's a lot of, you know, what we do, if we're like highly trained, skilled, experienced artists, it doesn't really make us special at all, because they can hire someone from overseas, and then it seems like bad art is more forgivable.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's cheaper outweighs. So I mean, I was surprised that I left after getting 2 assignments that I turned down. So I can officially say I left Marvel. It's not like I ran out of work, so I had to make my own work somewhere else. And this was at a high page rate, because my page rate was set in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I was impressed that they were actually willing to pay my rate to have me draw the Star Wars book. But because they can get anyone, and because it seems like they're not prioritizing the draftsmanship. You know, in most cases, I mean, they'll still pay top dollar for Olivier Coipel and guys like
Pepe.
whatever the X-Men artist. Yeah, Pepe.
But Pepe is now
Larraz.
drawing for Netflix.
Right, because someone paid even more
Yeah.
than Marvel. But Marvel they can still get by. I think Todd McFarlane said that he never got higher than $125 a page
What?
at Marvel and DC, which sounds a little weird to me.
Yeah. That sounds a little weird to me, too. 125 was we're at Valiant still got 125.
Yeah, that was our rate when we were at Valiant. But yeah, but since those guys left for Image, Marvel and DC had to up their game to keep artists from leaving, so everyone's rate went up, and also books were selling like crazy, like regularly like 200,000 copies or 100,000 copies. So our rates were set back then, and then they've been falling ever since.
Yeah.
I think Courtney's here.
Hi.
Hello.
There she is.
Quick question,
Hubby,
Sean.
hubby.
Am I drawing this in a manga style, or am I drawing this in like my own style?
Oh, whatever style you got going, that's cool. So, Courtney, are you familiar with this? What's it, Spy
Family?
X Family? Spy.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I read part of the manga kind of early on. Yeah, I found it a little slow, but entertaining, I guess. I just dropped off, and I mean, just kind of stopped watching it after a while, or reading it after a while. But
It's strange. By the time they have a TV show on, you would think like this is new, but this could be it could be like a decade ago or something, or has it been around?
I actually don't remember. I might have watched, or I might have read it kind of later. I think I watched the first episode. I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's kind of like an average story. I feel like I just watched another anime actually that's that is almost character per character compared to a different anime, and they're both very, very popular. And I was kind of like offended. Not offended, but I was just like, this is exactly the same story as this one. It has the same characters. People on the stream, if they're familiar with anime, they probably know exactly which animes I'm talking about.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Chainsaw Man, and I think it's shortened to JKK. I forgot the name of it. But basically have the same character, almost the same line. And I Googled it to be like, is this anime the same as this one? And fans especially, are so obsessed with both of them. There's no rivalry between these two, that they actually make fan art between like the characters that are exactly the same. It's so bizarre, which I'm like, as somebody that it just goes to show, you would never see that, if comics came out, they'd be like, oh, I think they almost came out at the same time, and also they said that they were fans of each other, both these authors, but still it's almost comical. Actually it is very comical.
Is it the one with a chainsaw as a face?
Yeah, that's so popular
yes.
now.
Yeah. So everybody,
There's more than one?
Boruto, you don't have to watch Chainsaw Man. Actually, it's supposed to be more bloodier, but character dies. I can let you know which one. But basically, it's the same main character with the same few characters. So it's interesting to see such a heavy following in anime. It's almost I still watch both of them. I still enjoy both of them, but I'm not gonna. But I guess maybe I'm part of the problem where I'm like, great, they're both the same. I wouldn't say that they're like the best, but those are like the most highly anticipated animes that have been coming out. And people are stoked that they're basically the same. I'm like, what is happening? I think I got off topic. I'm so sorry. But yes, Spy Family.
You're redrawing the dad character.
Yeah, moving him over a little bit.
Okay. One thing about this reference you have up there, those eyes are really well done. If you want to know like a little bit of why those eyes look like they have soul. Like it feels like, you know, this is just basically color on flat paper, but you get the sense those eyes are very glassy, like a glassy dome. If you see like the top left quadrant around the 11 o'clock position, there's a pinpoint spectral highlight, that sharp white dot. You can imagine light entering a glass dome at that side and then spreading out through that lens and then making a spotlight at the opposite side on the bottom. So it fans out like a cone. So that's the cause and effect thing there. And then as you get to the upper eye, toward the upper eyelid of the eyeball, you see how it's like black, like a shadow, and it gets lighter as you go down. So it makes it feel like that eyelid hood is casting a shadow on the iris, and then the glassy part is taken care of by the spectral highlight, and that fans out and makes that spotlight on the inside of the dome at the, you know, the bottom part of our eye. And if you get those relationships in some semblance correct every time, it creates the illusion of this kind of like a half dome glass, glassy thing, and then all of a sudden your characters have like life and soul and everything. And it's a trick, and the Japanese prioritize the big eyes, and they just know the signs behind it and use it every time.
I don't think anime necessarily has that much larger eyes than a lot of the Western, you know, from back in the day, saying like, even coming from like Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop, like all of the like classics when anime actually came up, they also had big eyes, and it's just a more realistic kind of thing. So I mean, it makes it comical when people want to like mimic an anime character. It makes it with like, you know, super giant eyes and very top heavy in the titties. But so yeah, I that's interesting. I mean, I use those techniques in my own art, so it's interesting. I never knew there were really words in it.
Top heavy in
Or
the
words for
titties?
them.
What
Yeah,
did you
top
say?
heavy in the titties. Like when we did what's his
Oda.
name? Yeah. I think this artist actually is pleasing to the eye, even though it's very plain, because it's very symmetrical. You know, even the little girl is very symmetrical, and a lot of their art's simple but symmetrical.
Yeah, I'm digging it. It's great artwork. It's a great style.
Well, the interior art is a little different than the promo art.
Isn't that always
Yeah.
the case?
If you look at the interior art, it's not as refined as the.
Well, I heard you guys talking about that earlier, and I've read a wide array of manga, and since the author is a lot of the time the artist, there's also pros and cons. You know, you have to concentrate on the writing itself, and then also being the artist for that. But and maybe you're not the best artist, but there's a lot of my favorite actually manga and anime are artists that their art isn't that good, surprisingly. So I think there's
Yeah.
one called like Natsume Book of Friends, Natsume Yojimbo, and it's a phenomenal story, but the comic book art, especially for that one, is terrible. They have a better anime for it, because they do, but it's definitely not as good. But also to like rush through it, and I think certain styles, as it's not as pleasing to the eye, also show certain moods. Like they might, you know, not always show a face. They might have a blank panel that just supposed to emphasize, you know, what I was saying. They might make somebody look not as, you know, where it would be like that. Obviously, that could look better, but it does, in a way, push a narrative of the story. So it's funny to like really break apart manga in that way. Just to be, you know, even kind of the not as great parts of it, and a lot of, you know, I think most manga artists now they do a lot digital where you can kind of clean up the lines, but some of them still go pen and ink, and they will leave really like brush stroke lines, solid spots, like two lines that kind of overlap in a weird way, and for hair stroke, like it's just kind of interesting to see. But I don't know if that's it's just supposed to emphasize the storyline more, or kind of be overshadowed. The art doesn't want to overshadow the story in a way too, so it's kind of interesting to see.
They do prioritize the story more. I think the art is primarily just to document the story, because you can tell like they don't do color. Like we don't really accept comics without color in this country, but over there you get the idea. You don't need color, so it's just it's more casual. Then you get your underlings, your staff to draw a lot of the stuff, because it's more important that it gets done and then you tell the story and meet the deadline. And there's a lot of times like the art is unfinished, but it has to go to print anyways. But they don't make such a big deal about it. We make a huge deal about the art here, and thank God, because this is what Bernard and I do. I'm writing now, but before we're all about trying to be the best at art, and we're kind of in a world where it doesn't matter as much as it used to.
You look you look at animation. I think over the course of modern, recent last decade or so, animation has really become more simplified when you compare it to like the days of Disney. And now you have like, nothing against like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, but the drawing and the style is very different.
I will take a lot of offense right now. How dare you, sir?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Is that the one with the meatball?
That's the one. Yeah,
pizza.
That's the meatball and the shake, milkshake.
I think if it's gonna look silly, it's obviously gonna be like a comical, like funny.
That stuff is really popular.
Yeah, it's
all
popular.
the meme artwork on Instagram, all the meme artwork and stuff like that is just very simple.
But even like Simpsons or South Park, it's very simplified.
Yeah. And the spaghetti arms. So, yeah, I think you can go too far with art. Like I don't know what people think about like Lee Bermejo. I think everything is so rendered. He draws all the seams and every single hair, and that's a kind of it kind of misses the point of comics. So it's kind of cool in the way that you can actually get lost in the. But you put those 6 of those panels, shrink them down and put them on a page, and then you print it out and you read it from arm's distance, and it's all just like really muddy.
Exactly. Which I think that's what manga does a little bit better than American comic books. Because they're able to, they're able to kind of really draw back on a lot of it, and kind of pick and choose where they really want to emphasize on the page. Whereas like you want to make sure it's very visual, and there's a face or some sort of really good looking movement on each part of each panel, whether it's like just even from the back side of the body, the stance, things like that. But anime sometimes isn't like that, or you can be close to stick figures and you just it can be kind of looking a little rough, but it's funny how you kind of see past it when you're reading it and go through through the motion and just kind of enjoying the comic itself. So
Hey Courtney, is Hanukkah over?
I think.
You think?
I'm a bad Jew.
Yeah, I see those pictures of you in a Christian church. What's that about?
My uncle is a priest.
Oh, okay.
It's his church. It's his actual church.
So
And,
you won't like burst into flames if you step into a church.
I kind of burned a little bit, but
Oh, okay.
he's pretty bad his damn self. So it's funny. Him and my cousin we're all together and for Christmas. So this is actually like, kind of like my first Christmas, so it was kind of exciting. I'm like, yay, wow, this is a really midnight mass. This is interesting, and it's beautiful though. You know, they lit candles and it was nice, and they're, you know, we mostly joke around about a lot of religion, and we've all kind of like I think my cousin might become a Jesuit, which is actually very religious, and you know, you basically give everything to become basically a monk. So it's very interesting. And then but we're all kind of hilarious people, and we joke around, and so yeah, it was good times though. I'm still here. I'm in Seattle. We just came from dinner.
Oh,
Oh.
when you were young, did you believe in Santa Claus or Hanukkah Harry? Or is Hanukkah, is there a
Nah,
Hanukkah Harry, or is that just a Saturday Night Live skit?
That's
I think
there's
it
no
just
Hanukkah here.
Huh?
we joked about a Hanukkah bush instead of like a Christmas tree,
Yeah.
but it was basically like the parents being like, yeah, there's no Santa, but don't ruin it for your friends now. And but yeah, it was just a time. I mean, Jews are known to go get Chinese food
Yeah.
on
Christmas Eve.
Christmas. That's what we do, and that's actually what we did after midnight mass. And my uncle kind of finished up at the church, and we went and we got Chinese food, and it was delicious.
Because it's the only place open on Christmas.
Yeah, it was packed. It was packed. I had the best. Like,
Peking
their
duck.
pot stickers were so good. Stuffed themselves. So it was good. It's a lot of fun. I mean, we all kind of joke about religion and stuff like that, but
But you're the only one that's going to hell though.
oh no, we all agree we're all going to hell. My uncle can do a really good like Southern Baptist voice, like you're all going to hell, and it's hilarious. So, yeah.
James Quo has a question.
Okay. What's the question?
Well, was there? He's got 100,000 channel poops.
Oh.
And then, so there's a draw me in it. So was there a draw me in it, like something you set a long time ago, or
There was.
you reach a certain amount? So then you would have to draw him in a draw.
Do it.
Drawing. What was that about?
I guess draw. You have to send a picture of you, and I draw you in the drawing.
Oh, okay.
Is it still an option on the site? I thought I took it off.
Yeah, do we?
It's still there.
Well, you gotta get something for 100,000.
Yeah. I won't be able to do it today though, but maybe for the next one. I mean, Red Sonja is the next one, January 4th.
Yeah. You can draw his head. You know.
Yeah, draw your head being chopped off by Red Sonja if you want.
Yeah. Just kind of holding you by the hair, kind of thing.
But then you might not get the drawing. So.
Oh, that
Well,
sounds
maybe you
mean.
should.
He has 100,000.
So the 100,000, would that include the drawing, or just have you?
Oh, that's up to you. I think it
Well,
should.
what do you think? What do you think, Sean? What do you think, Courtney? I think Courtney's leaning.
I just say give it to him, but that's just me. But I'm I'll never win anything anyways, so
What if that's the one that you win?
I give it to him. I saw him. He has crazy hair. I don't need a picture of a guy with crazy hair.
Who?
On my wall. James Quo.
Okay.
Doesn't he? He has some crazy hair. I'm just kidding. James, your hair's looking good. He is a little cartoon dude, I think, on his Instagram, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think I'm pretty much almost done.
Yeah, this drawing went fast.
It's anime. Or manga.
No insult there.
I mean, look at this thing. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing.
But what you got to do is you got to finish each comic up within 32 pages within a month.
Hmm?
So Yeah. 32 pages are usually pretty. 28 to 32 is about a manga comic per
In
month.
a month? I thought it was
In a month.
more than that. Okay, because
No,
that's not that
sometimes.
far away from what
Yeah,
our
but if
American
it's
deadlines are.
yeah, but if you look at these pages, I mean, it's not a lot of. I mean, there's background in it, but it's not really. I mean,
I think it's a very simple.
there's a lot of
This
negative
one in
space here.
particular is pretty simple. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be really clean.
there's a lot of negative space here. A lot of negative space. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably bang out 50 of these pages in a month.
Do it. It's time for you to convert.
Anyways.
Be a manga man now.
Corny, when you heading back to Japan?
I'm not sure. I was playing around actually with I think some of my friends are actually going to Tokyo Auto Salon. For this car thing, obviously cars. So so they were talking about going back for like a week, but I'd hate just to go back for a week and just try to cram in some work, and it's so depressing to go back only for a week.
Well, how long would you go back for then?
I mean, usually when I'm there for like about 3 months or more.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm usually there for a long time. It's so short. And also being with kind of other people, I'm not used to traveling with other people. I'm usually on my own, so I don't know. And also it can be snowing in January, which is like in a couple weeks from now, actually. I do want to go back though. I do need to go back.
Do you know about the requirements to enter Japan? Do you need to have a negative COVID test right now, or there's no testing to go back in?
So I think there's no testing, but you do have to be fully vaccinated. I think they will keep that. There's no like you can't be vaccinated, but you can test negative. I think it's like you have to be vaccinated as the last time I checked. So, and I think that just means, your original with the 2 boosters and I think nothing more, because I know there's more boosters coming up. So I think that's it.
You need the 2 boosters? Damn.
Or
one booster?
Is it just one booster?
I don't know.
It might just be one then.
Okay.
Yeah, it might just be the 2. Sorry. So, are you thinking about heading back?
I might have to make a pit stop.
Pit stop back to Taiwan?
Yeah, because I need to book like 2 tickets, so I might need to book like because there's limited availability on reward tickets.
Yeah,
straight to
absolutely.
Taiwan. I would have to stop in Haneda, exit the airport, and then recheck back in, which would technically put me as entering the country officially. So I would still have to abide by all of those requirements, even though I would basically be leaving the airport and then checking right back in.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? Just a long layover, or?
No, I would have to book 2 separate tickets, and so then they can't. They won't be able to combine an award ticket with a paid ticket.
Oh, I see. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're fine. I think that's what the whole last one of like everybody's welcome to come in now, but you just have to be vaccinated. I'm pretty sure those are requirements. I can check and let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going back already? Can I come to Taiwan this time? I want to come. I wasn't invited last time.
I'm going back probably February for a week or 2.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Jerry already left?
Oh
the
yeah, he's
stream?
already back. Yeah, he's already back.
'Cause I popped on very early
Oh, he already.
before I
Oh
went.
yeah, he already left the stream.
Yeah.
We said he's already engaged, so he doesn't have to talk to her every night. Right?
What? He's already engaged, so
Yeah.
he doesn't have to talk to her every night.
Right. Isn't that how it works?
Got him. I don't know. I've never been engaged, so I'm just. But if that's how he wants to do it, I mean, you're not married yet. He's not married yet.
Yeah,
You
he's
better
not
watch
married
out.
yet. Yeah, well, I guess.
No, your cousin seems super, super, super sweet. So she looks like somebody who'd put up with a lot.
Okay.
Exactly.
Anything else to this? I don't really like this face, but Sean's still there?
I'm here. I froze up for a bit, but I came back.
Oh. Anything else I should add to this?
Where's the fighting scene?
Fighting.
There's a fighting scene?
Yeah, they fight.
They're fighting?
Yeah, they end up fighting. They're spies.
This is a cover.
Yeah, this is just
Fine.
a variant cover.
And the dad is David Bowie.
That does kind of remind me of David
Yeah, a
Bowie.
little like David Bowie, huh?
I think the little girl's really obnoxious. But I don't usually like little girl characters in anime. They have, really high pitched voice and
And the shrill
kind of
voice.
annoying. Yeah, I can't.
Sometimes when I'm watching those Miyazaki movies, I'm like, it's great all around. But then once in a while, it's like, that girl's got to shut up.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad. I mean, that's all kind of in a lot of animes too. I don't know if it's considered a cute voice. Japanese pop.
Okay, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Let's get out of here.
I just got on.
You want to stay on for another 5 minutes while I throw on some color on here?
Yep.
Her peach-colored hair. What kind of color are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll mimic
Well,
this
I mean,
peach
the
color.
reference has a very basic few colors.
Yeah.
And
Let's
does that
do
mom have red eyes?
I think it's brown.
Yes.
Brown, brown.
It does look red.
I'm gonna try to do
Red
what
strip.
I'm gonna try to do what Sean mentioned about the spherical optical illusion of.
I do that all the time. You can look at any of mine, and I always do it.
So let's do a peach
Yeah, so
color.
she does have red eyes. That's just weird.
All the colors do match. Like the mother's hair matches like the little girl's, whatever those cones are called.
Party hat.
Party hat on two sides, and then his red tie matches her red eyes.
Okay.
Is this one of those things where like the guy's eyes never open in the the cartoon?
Or is he just
That's how
happy?
you know he's frightening, but still tries to look friendly. Actually, I don't think that's the case for this man.
Is it a comedy? This Spy Family?
Yeah, it's a comedy. Just kind of shows it from the viewpoint of everybody's kind of. So it's the main guy. He's doing his whole spying thing, and then he has to kind of make it look like he has a natural family. That's his mission, and to get information from this man who has family or something. I'm probably not saying it completely correct because people.
It's like
Probably
the
agree.
Invincibles, like.
Yeah.
They try to come off as a normal family.
Are they
But
a
the thing
real
is,
family?
they don't know though. They don't know each other's. They don't know. There's still like a mystery. So he doesn't know that his wife is super strong and is a fighter, and they also don't know this little girl can read people's minds. So
Jeez, how
Yeah.
long can you sustain that in a story?
Yeah. Exactly, but it's comical. That's why it makes it more interesting, I guess, because it's like this little girl ends up covering for or making more trouble for this her father, or she, the thing she does is because she reads his mind, and yeah, I'm kind of
That's right. She's psychic.
yeah. She's psychic.
All right.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of manga and anime that are more popular in Japan than they are in the US, and those are the ones that I usually like. One of them I think a lot of American viewers would probably like a lot because it has a lot of like bloody scenes, and it's really kind of twisted. Not really twisted, but it's called Golden Kamui. I might have mentioned it before if we ever talked about anime, but it's hilarious and it's kind of historical, and it's probably like one of my favorites.
What is it called?
Golden Kamui.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. The first like 1 or 2 episodes start off slow, but it basically is kind of like a almost like a western where it's they're searching for gold, this gold, but it's also based in Hokkaido, and it's post the Japanese Russo War, so it's kind of historically accurate. But then it kind of there's an Ainu character, this girl, and who's kind of the warrior, and she's kind of badass for being a young girl and not obnoxious. And what the funny thing is because of that anime, more people were drawn to Ainu and the Ainu culture, and it actually like renewed this spark of culturalism in the Ainu people and in Japan, recognizing them as from an anime. So that's how big this anime really was in Japan, and really not watched. Yeah, Marvin Nation said Golden Kamuy is pretty good. I'm just gonna give it away. There's one character that's so twisted. He's a bear fucker. He fucks bears. Just letting you know.
Bears or like guys that are bears?
Actual bears. It does. There is a little bit of gay overtones to it in more of like a hysterical way. Yeah. K-pop junkie. I think she might have watched it.
Is this available on Netflix or?
I think it might be only on Crunchyroll, but also you could probably find it on different like streaming devices. It's really good though. Like it's I think the story and the characters are really fucking wild. It's just the one I especially for people who don't really like anime, it's the one I'm like, go watch this one. Like it's really well done. Kind of like it's not as weird as Quentin Tarantino, but it does have certain like fight scenes that are really well done. So
I think I got the color all off on this.
it's okay. Just roll with it.
Like her hair is like too orange.
Your version. You can do whatever you want. But there's just so many like animes and mangas that I actually really don't like. And maybe that's just, it's just not obviously not for me and not my time. So was this something we should have drawn today? I didn't know what the next list was.
Who picked this?
A lot of people in the chat.
Who was the first one to bring this up?
Why do you?
You're gonna punish that
That's the
person.
grind now.
Bernard seems a little angry tonight.
Yeah, who chose this?
3 characters.
He's just going with one.
Do you guys consider that it's 3 characters before offering it as a suggestion?
They're just trying to break you.
Yeah. Way high. I tell everybody to watch Naruto. No, Naruto sucks. Naruto's terrible. I'm sorry. Come at me, bro. It's not good. This is so boring.
But it's been going on for so long.
It's
So,
over now.
It's
It ended. He died. Just let you know, everybody
Naruto
died. They all died.
How did Naruto die?
They die in an explosion. The aliens came down and detonated everything.
Oh,
I
I think,
remember Travis watched The Last of Us. He was crying.
what?
is that your son, Travis?
Yeah.
Oh, way high. Oh, you suck. I think part of the problem for me is like I've seen so much like old anime and manga and stuff that I can only relate and be like, oh, this is just trying to be a ripoff of this, and that's kind of a problem probably with me. So good, somebody has to enjoy this trash, and that's
Somebody
that's your
might not have
prerogative.
seen the source material.
It's strange that so much of it is derivative. Like, do they have? I mean, it seems like I thought they had a lot of great ideas, but it seems like they're just kind of riffing off of each other's stuff.
Well, it's especially when with the character development, there's always a main guy, a main boy who's just like happy-go-lucky and has all these crazy powers, and then he has this serious friend who doesn't really like him, but they're like, we're gonna end up being buddies. And then there's some girl who is relatively good-looking, and and it's usually there's either a trifecta of people. So maybe it's just the way manga and anime are really created in a way. Like, we need these characters. We need to have this for character development. But
It's strange though.
way
Like,
high, I'm sorry.
when it comes to like drawing is an incredibly difficult skill set to master. It takes a long time. And then I would say the same thing about writing. And what are the chances that you're actually good at both? So why are other countries so into having the artist be the writer, or the writer
I
be
think
the
that's
artist?
just kind of what happens, but I think that's why they also are highly involved with their editors and in the way the story goes and crafted. So there is other say in how it goes, and needing kind of approval. So
Right. Yeah. I
that's
know that
kind of,
the editors are steering things pretty heavily,
yeah.
which I think is a good idea. But over here we don't. It's pretty rare that we have the writer and artist be the same person. So we have people who are good at art do the art, and then people who are good at writing in theory do the writing, but the writing is still so bad.
Yeah, I mean, can you really say like the majority of comic book writing is good writing?
Well, I've been writing, and then I've also been studying writing, and I do a lot of research into screenwriting and book writing, prose writing, and all that. And television writing, it's so difficult. There's so much to learn, and no one in comics applies any of that because we're incredibly forgiving when it comes to story, and we also suffer the consequence of always having bad writing. Writing is extremely hard to do well, and a few people do it well, but it just seems like anything goes. I just don't understand it.
Well, when I think about wanting to make my own comic book, it would definitely be, all me. And I think there's something actually more positive about wanting your story, and being able to draw it the way you want to draw it too. And I'm sure Bernard has more of an image with this, is able to see this a little bit more, with Monkey Prince, because he's so involved with the creation of it, and less of just the artist. So, I think I think it translates maybe a little better from what I personally think, and I think that's a personal opinion, in manga, because you're able to, it's your story, you're able to kind of fit the proper images where you think it belongs, and that might just be the way manga is anyways. But I have seen, there's also been manga where they actually have separate authors and artists, and I do see a difference. And there's been manga that's been made into manga from regular books that are written, because they want to make it into one, and it's just not as good. And usually they'll go for the better artists in that one to make it look very, very appealing, because they want great artists to kind of make up for the lack of being able to express it the same way. Or so it's just interesting to see kind of this wide range and kind of compare the different ways that any kind of comic is made.
So Bernard, when you're doing the Monkey Prince, when that story wraps up, technically, you could just go off and the Monkey King is public domain, right? So you can just kind of do your own, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it would be
do you
Monkey
gain
King,
anything
not
from
Monkey
DC?
Prince. Huh?
Like, what do you gain from having under the DC banner? I mean, of all the companies, they're kind of suffering the most now, and it just seems like their values are so against. I don't know what you. I mean, I think if you went off on your own and did your own Monkey King story, you would have to make up maybe only 1/20th of what the sales are. But because you don't have that giant building with all those lawyers and all the different floors and all the people involved and how much they take, you end up making the same amount if you sell 1/20th, right? And then you just wholly own it. So I just, I'm just throwing that out there.
It is, but then it's gonna be months of no money coming in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, but.
Or you could do things on the side and then also do your own project.
I could.
A little slower, but I mean, even in Japan, a lot of people are steering away from trying to get into things like Jump or any of the big comics and monthly comics, and they're going digital too. They're going on their own digitally. I'm not quite sure how the finances work in that way. Sometimes it's free, and then sometimes they're like, if you can donate, and it's one of those, I'm not quite sure. But there's big success, and kind of in a way, some of them are being picked up even that way, and so it's interesting to see that there's not only a change in American comic books, but worldwide there's definitely a change. And also the influence of even American comic books in Europe and Africa and all over everywhere. A couple of years ago on Instagram, I had this guy message me from Sudan, and he's from Sudan. And I don't know, I think maybe at the time I was posting pictures of Comic-Con or something. I have no idea why he decided. Great artist, I ended up talking to this kid, and he's from Sudan, and I ended up, he drew a picture, and he could sketch really well. I mean, it was amazing, and I was like, do you have, I talked to him, and I was like, do you have, because he was like, do you know anybody at Disney? I love Disney. And I was like, no, I don't, sir. I don't know who you're trying to find, but I'm not anybody in anywhere. But I was just trying to be like, you're doing great work. This is amazing. He has pen and paper. He has no art supplies. I'm like, is there any? And he's like, no, we have nothing here. We have nothing in Sudan. And I was even like, can I mail you something? Can I mail this kid some art supplies? And he's like, if sometimes it comes through the mail and sometimes it doesn't. And it was just crazy. I hope he's doing well. I'm very sad now that I think about it. I'm like, I should probably scan through those, because things aren't good in Sudan right now. But
is he watching
anyways,
the
be
stream?
good to each other. Poor kid. Oh my goodness.
How old was this kid?
I think he was actually in his early 20s and stuff. So, very proper. I think he was kind of confused about how things, not confused, but asking questions about how things, he's like, oh, you're this age, but you're not married type of thing. But we talked about art and things. He's like, I want to draw this comic book that has to do with that's like really like about Sudan and like how amazing it is. And he would post a lot of art too, and really good ballpoint, and great sketches. I mean, he had like a vibe of his own, and very much. But it just goes to show if you're lucky enough and you're able to be seen and get the proper equipment but there's artists everywhere.
Yep.
There's artists everywhere, and and I don't know. I'm sad now. I'm sad about that child. I hope he's doing okay.
I think it's a foreign exchange student situation right there.
I think so. I'd probably be that sucker. I'd be like, he's like, psych, you're giving money to a
Is his
Arabian
father
king.
a Nigerian prince?
Exactly. There we go. That's what it is. The Nigerian prince. No, he drew a picture of me. I was like, oh, you're so nice.
Oh my god.
Very sweet. I hope he's doing well. Things are bad in that country. They're not good. I'm sorry. I do overtake it. I had some wine and I had alcohol today. I'm so sorry. Wine is wine. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It's my vacation.
It's all good. It's the holidays.
It is.
Maybe I'll stream again later this week. I don't know. I want to, but
What is it like?
I got work.
Wanting to stream more than
Well, because it's the
Wait.
holidays.
Did you look over Dr. Midnight stuff?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we did.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed that. Dr. Midnight, I think I need a re-up if you want to.
Did someone last week like kind of do some quick math, and then I don't know what it means when someone gives subs to someone like from
Me
a dollar
neither.
value point, but it was kind of like a pretty hefty amount.
Yeah.
Like, good lord.
Is he a doctor? This is a
Yes.
mystery. I love it.
All right. Sean.
Oh, I don't have my phone nearby, so I think maybe you're gonna have to.
Courtney,
Yes,
do you want to text me a number?
I can, or Fletch can, because Fletch is on now.
Oh, Fletch is on?
too.
Okay.
I'll text you though. A number between what?
What do you want?
One and 100.
1 and 100.
1 and 200.
Let's give this sketch away. One and 200.
One and 200. Sorry, I did 1 and 100.
1 and
Sorry,
100.
that's-
1 and 100. This is for chat, for subs only. Subs only or everyone? Dr. Midnight just subbed Art X Mike. Thank you, Dr. Midnight.
He said he got me.
All right, let's get back. I gotta get back to work.
It's strange you have to go to work after this.
Yeah, I
work that
don't
you
Wait.
just did.
I say that,
How
but
was everybody else's holidays?
The usual.
Why are you saying that like you're disappointed in your family, Sean?
Sean, what did the kids get you for Christmas?
Oh,
A tie.
really? How
Yeah.
androgynous.
They got you a tie? Or did they get you like a school project that they made?
Macaroni.
Oh, what? I mean, Eloise doesn't know much about anything, but her school has these like little gift sale things. So she'll just get stuff for the family, and we get it, and it's like, oh, I just cannot get excited about this, but I gotta pretend. But
Is it like wallpaper, like wrapping paper, or?
no, it's like erasers in the shape of a game controller, and she thought I would really like that.
You do gotta pretend, because I remember I made like this really ugly brooch when I really got into like Michael's crafts when I was like 7 year old for my mother, and then I gave it to her, and then she never wore it, and then I was sad, and then and then that's where I think my stemming from being a bad gift giver comes from, because unless I know somebody wants something, I will not buy somebody a gift.
Yeah, it's
So
tough,
don't do that to your child.
right? Should we lock up the numbers? Is that everybody?
Is it everybody?
Is that everybody? Is Lurky here?
All
You
I
want to lock
know
it up?
is way high didn't win because he likes Naruto. Now I'm gonna pick on him.
Oh, I think I'm making it worse.
You know, do you like using that watercolor pen thing? I mean, it's a water pen, right?
It's like a pen, like with a cartridge in it. So.
The cartridge, but it's just water, right? Because you still have to dip it into the color.
Yeah, you still have to dip it in the color. Ugh, I fucked up the hair. Look at that.
I think that's kind of strange. Like, I don't know. I always like using the brush that you dip into water, because that brush is bigger, and I think if you use a bigger brush, because then you get to fill an area up, you have to use you kind of have to scribble inside of a space with a small brush.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as intuitive. I don't really. This eyeball's fucked up too.
Oh, I think manga and anime is a little harder than you thought it was. Is that what I'm
No, it's the
hearing?
watercolor, really.
Okay.
All right, who's gonna lock up? Lurky locked it up. Courtney,
Yep.
what was the number?
82.
82. So, who do
I
we
think-
have? James Quo, 88. Beef
I
Skeleton,
think
77.
Beef Skeleton? Skellington?
Beef Skeleton, is that close? 77 to 82? That's
I
5.
think it is.
88 to 82 is 6.
Yeah, that's close. And the
Looks like-
first two numbers, too. You guys are such good guessers.
Looks like Beefy got it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Beef.
First time winner.
Oh, he is?
First time winner? Really? Beef's never
Yeah.
won?
Good
Can you believe that?
job. All right. I feel proud then. I'm with you on that one.
Kevin, my fantasy
Well, I'm
football
not-
season is over, so I have not watched any games.
So that's why you're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck this anime. Fuck this. Fuck
The one year I should have maybe picked some Detroit Lion players. But
you can't bring your own feelings into fantasy football.
there's no crying in fantasy football.
There probably is. People lose a lot of money.
This whole thing about sports betting that's legalized now, it's not the same as the lot. Like the lottery is run and sponsored by the what is it, the state government.
Uh-huh.
But sports betting is not, right? It can't be.
No, it's run by individual booking, like casinos, but they're taxed by the state government. I believe.
So why would they make it legal? I mean, is it ethically kind of sketchy?
No, tax.
Because-
They get tax revenue.
Okay, so the tax revenue is a lot, like the lobbyists would kind of hit them hard and say like, okay, I'll take money for this, but they've got to understand that people who have a gambling problem are gonna have a problem with this.
Yeah, they have the disclaimers on there. If you have a gambling problem, call the 800 number.
Okay, yes. So that makes them able to sleep at night.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like fantasy football is usually done with friends or in a group. I mean, people do it at their work. They have like
Right, but-
fantasy football work things. So it's more of like you put in one pot of money, or
Yeah.
they all equal amount. So it's a little different than like a consistent gambling, and I maybe it's more legal because you're not just playing the odds, but you're actually picking these players, so you have a say. I'm not quite sure how it actually gets around to being absolutely legal to do kind of on your own. Not sure how, but and it's in the end if you win that jackpot after a couple months. But there's like you put in $100 or whatever, and if you lose, you lose, and then if you win, you might get that like. So you'll lose more money like heading to a casino in one night for sure. If you have a bad gambling addiction, I think people with gambling addictions will not go for fantasy football because that's a long
We
game,
gotta.
But
and they want something quick and easy.
My headphones
sports
are dead.
betting is different, though.
Oh, absolutely.
We gotta get
Completely
out of
different.
here.
You're betting on like each game, and then even you're betting on the by the minute. If the game moves,
Yeah, I can't hear
changes.
anybody.
Bernard has to get off. Yeah, so
We gotta wrap it up.
his
Sorry,
headphones
Courtney, if
died.
I'm talking over you guys.
No worries.
Let's. I can't hear anybody anymore. So, we're past the 3-hour mark. So let's get out of here.
Stream.
Congratulations, Beef. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Fletch. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for everybody on the stream. It's been an amazing 2022. Just want to thank everybody for your support. Your Jimbo for moderating. Is Steve here? And again, for everybody for all your support this year. We'll look to keep going next year. Do we have another person that's on? I can't hear the Discord because my
Poor guy. Fletch got on.
my earpods have run out of batteries. So
Did I make it?
Let me
Am I in
try.
time for the stream?
You
You're in
made
time
it.
to say bye. So.
Ah!
anyways, happy holidays. I don't
Happy
don't think I'm
holidays.
gonna
Happy
sing. I want to, but I
everybody.
don't think I
Holidays,
can
and we'll
'cause
see
of
you
work.
in the new year, I guess. So.
We'll see you next week. Let's rate somebody real quick.
See you next year.
Get out of here. Let me raid. Anybody got any suggestions on who to raid?
Big
Cyberpunk.
titties.
Whoa.
Anybody want to in chat? Who I should raid? Fletch is here, I think. Someone's here. I can't hear anybody.
Can't hear me? Okay.
Who
was my
else
internet
is
again.
gonna raid Cyberpunk? If
No,
nobody
it's
else,
just headphones.
has any suggestions?
No suggestions.
Thank you again. Stay safe. Stay
Cyberpunk.
warm.
Commander Biscuit.
And catch you guys next year.
All right, bye.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Oh, they're that's interesting.